So good morning, West Coasters. Good afternoon, East Coasters. I'm Lulu Arias, Director of Customer Success here at Xendee, and I'm very pleased to be co-hosting this webinar with Leif and Jason from Correlate Energy. Thank you all so much for joining.
Thanks, Lulu.
This is our agenda for today. So we will start with some introductions. Then I'll tell you a little bit about Xendee and its proposed tool. After that, I let Leif introduce Correlate, and Jason walk us through one of their use cases using Xendee. We'll close our time together with some Q&A. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm Lulu Arias, Director of Customer Success here at Xendee. Before joining Xendee, I used to work as a consultant at the Boston Consulting Group. There, I led teams in different projects, but mainly focused in oil and gas and mining. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to join Xendee, to transition into green energy and have some positive impact in the world. I joined Xendee a year and a half ago, and ever since I've been working closely with customers, helping them optimize their microgrids, and also creating spaces like this for our customers to kind of showcase their use cases. Leif, Jason, I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Thanks, Lulu. My name is Leif Algothon, Chief Product Officer here at Correlate, and excited to share a little bit more about Correlate and then work with Jason to present how we work with Xendee to expedite awesome proposals for solar storage and other solutions to our customers.
My name is Jason Loyette. I'm Director of Corporate Business Development at Correlate Energy. Been doing commercial behind the meter solar development for the last 20 years. Similar to Leif, have an extensive software background and are always looking for the best ways to build efficiencies around our projects and accelerate how we can bring more solar to the world.
Thanks, Leif. Thanks, Jason. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about Xendee. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we're a platform company that helps businesses optimize their energy and electric vehicle infrastructure. We have these 4 tools that kind of accompany you through the whole process. So from the discovery to the proposal phase, into the detailed engineering design, all the way into the operation of the site. So let's say you're a real estate company and you have different buildings and you're trying to find which is the optimal site. Or you could also be a bank trying to decide which project to invest in. Then you can use the discovery tool and input load information, which technologies you want to work with and the addresses, and you'll get this rank order list by ROI, CO2, and other relevant variables to make informed decisions. After that, you'll move into the proposal phase. And here you can be someone preparing a proposal for the government, or another interesting use case could be a generator company that wants to see if their technology fits a specific site. Then you will need to do feasibility analysis, and propose can be very helpful for that. I'll get into some more details in just a minute, but I wanted to mention it here to show you how kind of Xendee flows across the whole process. After the proposal, you probably want to do some more detailed engineering design, and that's where you can use the design tool. With design, you can do multi-year analysis, you can model outages, you can get into more complex projects and work with multi-nodes, analyze power flow and one-line diagrams, and so much more. Design is kind of our first tool. It's been in the market for a while now. It has been used by many customers and has proven to save up to 90% of their time in the design phase. And that's basically what we're trying to do with Propose here, with Operate pretty soon, to save you time and get you accurate results. So once the site is in operation, you probably want to use the same technology that you used before to continue to work there. And so Operate uses basically the same algorithms, but incorporates real-time data to make sure that your runtime is constantly being optimized. Today, we will focus on Propose and how the Propose tool fits into Correlate Energy sales process, but I wanted to give you this overview to show how Xendee is with you from start to finish. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit more about Propose before handing it over to Leif. So Propose is our catalog-driven and easy-to-use tool for business development teams with little, maybe technical background outside their products to put together feasibility analysis. So as you know, these analyses take time, resources, and that usually translates to cost. But we propose anyone can prepare this accurate proposal with a couple of clicks in under 3 minutes. So once the proposal is created, it can be shared with the customer within the same tool. And if it is won, it can be passed over the engineering team through our design tool. With that, I'll pass it over to Leif to tell us a little bit more about Correlate.
Thanks, Lulu. So Correlate Energy is a turnkey project developer focused on the distributed generation space, specifically targeting commercial and industrial customers. We typically go after either large customers or portfolio customers, and we're going to them with a very simple promise. We want to help you reach your energy decarbonization or cost-saving goals. And how do we work together to help you achieve those? We work with a lot of folks in the market. So we work with a lot of partners that are bringing us into early stage opportunities. We work with a lot of material vendors. We work with a lot of installer partners. And we really think that in the market today, it's important to have those relationships with people in the market that are making things happen. So solar, storage, microgrids, energy efficiency, EV chargers, demand response are all the types of solutions we bring to our customers. And we love working with other folks in the market. So if you think that you see an opportunity to work with us, please reach out afterwards. Go to the next slide, please. So finally, I'll just note, we've been doing this for a long time. So Jason alluded to the fact he's been doing distributed generation development for 20 years. I've been doing solar energy efficiency for over 15 years. The founder of the company, Todd Michaels, has been doing this for 25 years. He's OG CNI Solar, one of the first venture-backed companies back in the mid-2000s that sold to NRG. So we've been doing this a very long time, and we're always looking for the best tools to help us be faster at delivering value to the customer and then knowing whether or not there's a real there. I mean, we all focus with this, right? Like, how much time do I have to spend to get a customer to know what's realistic? And is that going to be in their budget? Is that going to meet their goals? And this design tool is by far the best solution I've seen in my career in the market that gets you to those answers that you can present to a client with confidence to know that if they say, yes, I want to move forward with something, that you can quickly go downstream to help them with designing out a real project. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jason Loyett. He's and using Xendee all the time to develop these early stage customer proposals, and he's going to walk you through how that works for us. So Jason.
All right. Thanks for real nice intro. Let's jump on in, guys. Want to show you how we use the tool to accelerate projects, qualify projects, look at portfolios, and really look at multi-tech solutions. Like I said, I've been doing behind the meter solar. That's been our focus for a long time, specifically on large commercial and industrial properties. And so I'm going to show you today, we're going to go through a true case study on a project that Correlate has developed and commissioned in the Chicago market. Hopefully this gives everybody a really good idea on what putting Xendee side by side with a project. This is an industrial printing plant that we commissioned late last year. You can go into the website and get a good idea. We've got a good video on it just to show you some of the panoramic and drone footage of it. This is a 908 kW. This is a behind the meter project, offsetting between 20 to 25% of the usage. So we maximize the rooftop. That's what I want to show today is how we're able to leverage Xendee to accelerate, especially at the top of the funnel. I think, a lot of developers and a lot of sales, commercial sales people in our industry they're getting approached by national portfolios. Same with Correlate. And we're at a unique opportunity in the industry that we now need to move through the design and really qualify the projects and the technologies around it and understand, is this a viable project? And so that's what I want to show today. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and show you how we could do it. And I think what Lulu said, I mean, it would, could take minutes to put this together. I'm going to take you through very rapidly the proposed tool. And I think Leif will follow up and show you a little bit or talk a little bit about how we use the design tool then to take it to the next level. But Xendee makes it really simple for us to go in and qualify. Now we mandate that we get 12 months utility bills and then interval data, as part of our behind the meter design methodology. But what's powerful on Xendee is, everybody knows in our industry, there are going to be sites that we're only able to get one bill, or we're able to, we're going to need to really figure out, what is their usage based on this. I'm using real usage on this property. But we can go in and very easily select the usage profile of the site. So I'm going to use medium office on this one. We can go in, we can then select. We have a good idea, or we already know what the usage is. We collected the interval data from the site. We know on an annual basis that they're using 6.4 gigawatt hours on this thing. But what's powerful about Xendee as well is that it's going to predict. It's going to give us predictions on that. If we don't have the actual usage, a lot of times we'll take the first step with Xendee, look at their recommendation, and we're gonna go ahead and move forward. So to make it really simple on that, we've got the utility. Today I'm going to look at we're going to look at solar plus storage, and we're going to use a solar only plus a coupling storage into the projects and show you what the results look like. And so with that, our first step is going to be going in. Xendee is tied into Genability, so we have the ability to go in there and grab the commercial rate tariffs very rapidly on this. So you can see that you can see Commonwealth Edison, we can see City of Geneva. It's on a municipal electric, so we're going to go ahead and choose that. I'm going to use the general service for this modeling today, so it gives you really quickly. We're able to move over. We're not going to do EV chargers today, but I do want to spend a little bit more time showing you how rapidly now we're able to model the solar on this. So they've got a really nice selection of the OEM, the module makers in here. Everybody has their favorites or what they're using. We actually used Qcell in this project. We're agnostic ourselves on the modules, but I'd selected that in our early design. They make it really simple for us. We're going to do some early modeling on this. I'm just going to put 225 a watt in here. We're going to call this a new project, even though you could see in that this project has been built. You can see it in the satellite view. We've got two ways to select, which is really powerful. And this is what I think can really help a lot of salespeople out. You've got the optimized design. This is going to allow for Xendee and the algorithms behind this, powerful algorithms behind this, to be able to optimize the system. And then we've got the input manually. So we might have, we might be going after an RFP, or we might know the size system that they're looking to build. We can input manually the system size. I'm going to show you the results then on this, and how you're able to really move very quickly through iterations of the design. We could show the electricity export. Let's keep it there. This is another powerful tool, guys, that I think this is going to help a lot of people out. Make it really simple to go in and draw the system. And this is, and remember, this is an early preliminary design. This is a feasibility analysis. And so we're able to go in there and really understand, what is the max potential design based on this project. You can see it takes seconds to go through. You can update the installation factor percentage on it. And what's nice about this is that it is really close. And I'll show you in the designs based on what we built versus what Xendee is predicting. It's really close, which is a really incredible, how it's able to do that and how this AI is built around here. We're going to select roof mounted, and we're going to select the azimuth as due south, as you can see on that design. So let's go ahead and hit save on here. I'm going to take this out. I think we got redundant on here. Okay. And so you can see we added batteries in this. Now, the first design that we did was a solar only. I'm going to show you two more things real quick. The financing and the incentives in here. So remember, we're building preliminary designs in the proposed tool. So we're going to be able to move really quickly through this. For purposes of this presentation, I'm just going to stick with cash, but they do have a loan purchase that we could select and go through. You can make these updates. You can show the project length. very quickly in here. And then also they've got the maker's depreciation in here, so we can make updates on that as well. So with that, this is where the magic happens. Once you have it set up, once you have the parameters built, the inputs in this, we're able to go in, and this is where we can start building iterations of the proposals very rapidly. So I'm not gonna. I've got these pre-built in the platform. It normally is taking, I'd call it 30 seconds up to 2 minutes, but not much longer than that. But it allows for us to generate multiple proposals. Let's look at different designs on this. And so let me go in here. I built 6 real quickly in here. I've got Xendee has built in either an overview or a detailed proposal. And so I'm going to show you each of these. This is a solar only proposal. Now, you saw how quickly it would have taken me 2 to 3 minutes to put most of the inputs in here. Now, like I did state, this is a 900 kW, 908 kW that was built. Let's take a look at what Xendee's optimization engine looked at. Xendee's showing right at a megawatt on there. So you could see, I mean, we were within 10%, of the estimate that we actually ended up doing the engineering on. And so you can get a good idea then on, based on that real quick drawings, Xendee saying we've got a 1 megawatt potential on this project, which is really close. You could see is a 16% offset based on that, based on the 6 million kilowatt hours that they're using per year on here. And then it takes you very rapidly through, at a high level, is this an option we should consider on here? So I'm gonna jump on over, guys, because I think there's also a detailed view. I'm going to stick with the solar only, then we'll jump into adding storage into this then as well. This is the detailed proposal. A lot of times we like to use the overview just at the beginning to get a really good idea. Does this make sense? But Xendee also gives us the potential to really beef up the presentation, grab some more data in here, take a look at, different, the breakdown of the system in much more detail. So you get a real good idea on what the system size looks like, the cash flow statements look like, really going into then the usage data. So you got a good idea. This is what the post solar would look like. So after the solar system was built, this site's still going to be buying around 5 million kilowatt hours from the grid, but we'd be producing about 1.4 million kilowatt hours from the solar project then as well. It's got a nice breakout of the on-site generation. You can see based on the Chicago market, this is spot on. It looks really good right now. This is the carbon emissions as well. And then they've got a nice report then to show what that looks like. So this is definitely a behind the meter qualified project. We're rarely sending electrons back to the grid based on this system size. So you get a really good idea on that. Let's jump over, guys. I'll show you now we also, like I showed you before, we did add storage into this then as well. So let me jump in, show you guys. We did two different inputs just to give you an example. A lot of clients are going to be asking us, does it make sense to add storage into this project? And so that's a powerful part of Xendee, is that we're able to now look at, based on the Chicago market, based on what the utility costs are, the commercial rate tariff behind the meter, does it make sense to optimize storage in this? And so the first set of plans that I built was adding solar plus storage on here. Let me go back in and show you what that looks like. All right, so the optimized, to show you this, it's actually showing that it omitted it. It's the first run of Xendee showed that because they're paying a very low cost per kilowatt hour. Xendee essentially is recommending us to stick with solar only on this project. So you can get a good idea what that looks like. It's showing it's omitted on here. But let me go in and then I'll show you one more on here. the detailed view. So it also goes through, it did the same thing on the detailed view. So this is valuable at the top of the funnel. We know that there are emerging markets. There's markets that storage is an absolute home run on, and there's markets that are emerging, kind of like the Chicago market and some of these other markets that essentially Xendee is with the optimization recommendation. It's showing that, yeah, storage is not. However, we're all meeting with clients that, resiliency is becoming a really important part of that. And so they're asking us to go in and look for, they do want to add storage for a multitude of reasons, including resiliency, including that, they're looking for ways to have that backup power on here. And so let me show you this then. Actually, let me go back here real quick. So I want to show you what that looked like. So we did a input manual. You could see in there, I'm just going to add 4 units. We're using a 100 kW storage unit in here. I'm using the manufacturer suggested retail pricing on this then as well. So you get an idea. It makes it really simple for us to go in there, do some reiterations of this, and then look at the input manually. You'll hit input manually on here. And then what happens in Xendee then is it's going to go in and it's going to manually include the storage units in here. So you get a really good idea. It makes it really simple for us to go in there and understand what that looks like behind the meter on here. So you get an idea. It does add costs. And I think this is a powerful, and this is going to look different, Chicago versus California versus New York, New Jersey. We're doing projects. But it is going to show you different numbers in here, which is very valuable for us to see this. And so I'll just scroll through here real quick. I'll show you one more on here. The last one is the input manual, the detailed proposal. And this includes the solar plus storage together with the actual numbers on that. So, on the sales side, it's up to you presenting this to your client or, just letting them know. A lot of us are here and we know the hurdles, we know the break even numbers, we know what they're looking for on net operating income. And this might not be the best option of a customer to present storage to. And so with that, I will send this back over to Leif to build on what we've presented so far.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. So one of the most important things about this, and Jason kind of alluded to this through his presentation, is the ability to take the results that come out of the proposed process and quickly move those downstream into our development process. So those numbers need to be close enough to where if the customer says, yes, this looks exciting, I want to move forward, and they give us the go ahead to support them in developing that project to a shovel ready project, that it's going to be relatively similar to the analysis that was presenting during the proposed phase. And so that's why we wanted to test it, just like I'm sure you would, to see how it compares against previous projects we've run. So let's go look at a real one, and which Jason just did. So that's really important to us. And we've done a bunch of testing to make sure that we feel that the analysis that comes out of the proposed Xendee tool is close enough to what we would be looking at for a real project. That's number one. Number two is that one of the things that gets me really excited about Xendee as a professional engineer and somebody that has to get these things to like a construction document set is that the same algorithms, the same calculations, the same back-end tool that runs their design tool, which is super full flavored. It's the best microgrid design tool, solar storage design tool I've seen yet in the market. That it's the same calculation engine running propose and running design. Basically, all propose does is it locks a bunch of the optionality in design and makes it super simple, so you don't have to like get into the nitty gritty weeds of a project that's real. But once you move it to design, you can literally just push the project through into design and then add in all the additional information that you would collect from a site visit, from getting, an 8760 load profile from the customer to replace, maybe an annual usage number, get real tariffs, be able to model pre and post tariffs. All that fun stuff is in design. And the cool thing is it's running off the same engine. So like now I'm like, okay, I have consistency of how the analysis is being run, which gives me more confidence that we're going to end up with a better answer, but still similar to what we presented and propose. So by the time we get that detailed design done and we sell them on an exact battery setup, an exact solar setup, we can then, have a high level of confidence that the system is going to perform as expected in the field as well. We're really excited for when Xendee comes out with their operate module, because then, we can put that on top of the operating assets, and it'll be the same algorithm telling the battery when to dispatch and when to turn on generation and all these different things that we all think about when we're looking at solar storage and maybe microgrids. So that continuous evolution from propose to design and to operate, I think is really important for customers to feel confident that they're going to get the results that you're presenting to them, and for you internally to have confidence that you're not going to get hung out to dry by presenting something to a client and then having to backwalk it because now your real design is coming up with different answers and a different way of thinking about it that confuses the customer. So, when Jason gets the customer on the hook, we move it into development, and then we work through their design tool to get more specific on exactly what we're going to do. And it runs the same optimization. I think it runs like hundreds or thousands of different scenarios to come up with the best possible way of designing the system from a sizing standpoint, but then also how are you going to dispatch it if it includes solar, storage, EVs, and other assets. So like literally down to the hour, how is it going to dispatch those resources? And then you can actually have it run multiple years. So how's that going to change over year as well? So again, super powerful, and it gives us the confidence to go to our customers with conviction and feel that we can present to them something that's real and give them something that they can buy and have confidence they're going to get the value out of. So with that, I think, we're going to open it up for questions. So I see a bunch of them coming into the Q&A, so please keep those coming, and really appreciate your time listening in today. We'd love to hear your questions, and we'll continue to answer them here for the next 15 minutes or so.
Okay, so many of them we already answered, but I'll just read out loud some that are still in the chat. So does it take into account markets where the battery is required, for example, California?
So yeah, if you're in a market where you know more about the market than maybe Xendee knows, you can always force it to include things. So one of the tenets of Xendee is that you can have it optimize on a basis of like, let Xendee decide whether it should be included or not, or you can tell Xendee, hey, I want this many of those in there. And if you're in the design tool, you can say, I want at least this many of them in here, but no more than this. Tell me the answer. So the design tool is very flexible and giving you kind of that flexibility to make sure that you're including the base, or the bare minimums you need for either a regulatory requirement or a customer requirement. And then flexing up to maybe, a number that would be max amount for the facility site for solar, for instance, or just a max amount for budgetary purposes.
Thanks, Leif. So next question is there a point in which the customer wants to build a proposal with you to figure out how you did it?
So that would be a good question for maybe Jason to answer. I got a question on it from a commercial perspective from my career doing solar development. So Jason, you want to take that one? And if not, I can grab it.
Yeah, and I think it's powerful sometimes to take the customer into the tool to show them how we got to these numbers. I mean, I think a lot of people on this call they still have seen salespeople running around with spreadsheets, and we all know, that is not the era of AI, on here. And so I'm happy to pull a customer in, and do a screen share. We use a Google Meet, in a lot of our presentations, and we're able to do a screen share and take them right in to show them, especially how we got to the optimal design and the recommended design in here.
Yeah, it's super powerful to walk them through, kind of the inputs and the outputs. One of the suggestions we gave to Xendee, which they're working on right now, is that in the proposed tool, we don't want to show them necessarily like the panels we're going to use and the quantity, because we don't want to give them enough information to make it easy for them to go bid us out. So there's always that concern, but like walking them through why you're the expert and why you have conviction that the numbers are correct is super powerful to get them to have confidence in your ability to execute and your ability to design them the system they want and they need.
I'll say one more thing, guys, is it's powerful that there is the ability to email proposals, print preview, print into a PDF. And so, we give the customer a lot of people don't want to get into the weeds, I think there's, a lot of times the overview presentation is going to be plenty, to be able to present to a client. Certain facility managers, ESG managers, even CFOs. I mean, they would like to see more advanced pro formas and cash flow statements, and this gives you the ability, makes it very flexible to decide what you want to present to that client.
Great, thank you. So we have one more question, a couple more questions, but let's go on with this one. Have you worked with NYISO grid?
Yep. So New York ISO grid, most of our projects are in the Northeast, California and Texas. I don't think this is, market news to most people on this call, hopefully, but those are the markets where storage, solar still in most markets is really, really good. So, that's where we typically go to hunt. And so obviously we're in the New York ISO grid. We tend to not do a ton of front of the meter because of how bad the interconnect backlogs are right now. And this fact that we go after more commercial and industrial customer types. But the tools are totally going to accommodate any front of the meter projects you have. So I'm not going to go into more on the New York ISO grid, but yes, we do work in that market and many of the other ISO grids, but we do heavily focus in the Northeast.
Great. Next question. Do you help with financing projects?
So I don't know if that's for Xendee or for us, so we can probably both answer. But yes, at Correlate, we do help with financing projects. We have development capital resources, and then we also work with many of the financing companies on, all the different types of financing, tax equity, loan, debt, whatever. And so, we do support early stage developers a lot with helping them get a project NTB into COD and getting them to a long-term owner and operator, whether that's us or somebody else. And then Xendee, I don't know if you guys have a financing piece directly with the financiers or not. I do know that they allow you to model both. Once you get to the design tool, you can model loans, and you can also model like EAS, PPA. So you can do kind of the standard types of financing in their design tool.
Great, thanks, Dave. One more. Do you have specific engineering companies you work with?
Yes. So depending on what type of engineering we need, we do work with specific engineering companies. You can follow up with us afterwards and we can chat about, what you're looking for and whether or not we can make recommendations for you.
One more that I couldn't, wasn't fast to answer typing, so I let Leif take it. What further improvements can be made in the design phase? Like, does it also create the electrical design of the solar installation as well?
So the design tool, for those of you who've been in the market a long time, we've mostly been using Homer. If you're going to do this more complex design stuff, it's been Excel spreadsheets you built yourself, or you use Homer, or both. The design tool is much more similar to like what you've experienced before in Homer, except for it's way easier and it runs way more simulations. And so I think it's a way more advanced tool, and they're actually supporting it, which isn't necessarily the case as much in these days with Homer. So you can do a lot of stuff on it. I don't know if it does like single line diagrams automatically. I think it does. We haven't used that particular piece of it, but I believe so, right, Lulu?
Yeah, it does. When
Yeah,
working with
yeah, so it has all sorts of different generation assets, fuel cells. Like we modeled a methane digester. It's got turbines, CHP, wind, solar. I mean, it's got a lot of different assets that you can put in. You can do multi-node networks. So if you're going to do front of the meter and build out like districts with multiple nodes that you're tying your different assets and resources into, it does that. So it's very, very capable of handling, simple things like we showed you today to keep the conversation a little bit more lively, all the way into like really deep, detailed, complicated projects.
Great. And I think we got our last question here. Unless you want to continue to ask, please feel free to do so. Yeah, there's more. So next one would be, how does our product stay confidential?
So we went through this recently actually at Correlate because we wanted to work with partners to help us with, developing projects, providing their input. And so we learned this just very recently. So I'll share what that looks like. So all of our project information we own, we maintain the rights to. It's confidential as I want to keep it from a user access point. So, as long as you're willing to manage your users, then it's confidential to the people you add to the system. They also have the ability to allow you to share a project with a third party that's got an account with Xendee. So again, they would be locked into Xendee in their terms of service and privacy policy. And what it basically does is it copies a project you have and shares it with them so they don't have access to your original project. So, we work with some of our vendors to say, hey, can you help us optimize the battery piece? Because you're the battery experts and you know your technology. So look, we got this project, we put the solar in it. Can you add in the battery piece and optimize it to make sure we have the best setup for what you provide, for instance? So we do that already. And, as you can imagine, I didn't want them to be able to see all of our projects because we may be working with on projects that aren't a good fit for them for whatever reason. So they do have good roles and permissions, and that ensures that you can make sure your data and your projects are kept confidential and you have full control over who gets to see them.
I wanted to thank you once again all for joining. Hope you've enjoyed the webinar. I hope to see you in our future ones. We'll send you an email with the recording of this session and also keep you up with future webinars that Xendee will be co-hosting. Thanks, Leif and Jason, once again for co-hosting this with me.
Thanks, everybody, for attending.